Chad Brendel, Dave Simone, Bearcat Journal. David Simone, sorry. Got to get the official name on an official video. Here at Nippert Stadium, Saturday, the first scrimmage of the summer. And Dave, it was a scrimmage that the defense kind of had their way, at least for the first probably 60–70%.
Definitely. Came out and right from the beginning, we're aggressive. I think it was second series, Cam Jeffries intercepted a long pass down the sideline from Des Ritter. Hayden Moore should have had an interception that Jarrell White dropped in the first series of the scrimmage. But it was an interesting scrimmage in that it was extremely run heavy, especially in the first 80% or so. I charted all the plays and it was probably 5-to-1 run to pass. So, I mean, I guess when you're looking to see what you have at offensive line and defensive line, that's one way to go about it.
I'd also say, just kind of talk to Coach Freeman for a second. This is one of only 2 times you get to hit before the UCLA game.
Right.
So I could see going run heavy, at least through the first part of the scrimmage, because they haven't hit anybody
Right.
yet.
I mean, if you're throwing a lot of completed passes on the sideline or incompletions, you're not tackling anybody. So you do need to see, with camp being so long, you're not going to hit very often, alleviate injuries and things like that. So you want to see who's willing to stick their nose in there and what you need to work on as far as tackling. And in that case, Mike Warren had a really good day. He broke several tackles, but that's kind of what he does. I thought the defense as a whole, you know, made some nice plays. A couple young guys that we hadn't seen yet. Definitely not afraid to tackle. Arquan Bush being probably the main one.
I mentioned that earlier this week. That kid sticks his nose in there.
He's not afraid, and he doesn't really care if he takes the brunt of it either.
He had a hit on Mick Oaks that I thought knocked him out initially. He was down for a minute. They helped him back over to the sideline. It looked like it was like a kind of a stinger in his shoulder area.
Probably just shocked himself.
Yeah. And then 10 minutes later, he was back in, went the rest of practice, had another big hit over the middle later in practice. That kid, 180 pounds, but man, he mixes it up. You'd like to see that from a young corner, especially at a position where usually guys are kind of, they're looking to knock the ball down, not hit somebody.
In this league too, you're going to need corners that can tackle in space and aren't just, you know, trying to grab cloth and hope that someone comes in over the top and cleans it up. Yeah, Navy game. A lot of other teams, you know, play more horizontal than vertical. But you know, I thought as a whole the offense struggled, but you know, hopefully that's a improvement from the defensive end of things, because it wasn't one-sided in 2017. So we needed to see something from both. You know, obviously people are going to want to know how the quarterbacks did. My opinion is neither one had a very good day, and neither one grabbed the job. Yeah. So we're going to go into next week, still a competition, and you know, you would have liked to have seen either Hayden Moore or Desmond Ritter come out here and complete a bunch of passes and say this is my job, but you know, neither of them really did. Both had a couple nice throws, a couple touchdowns.
I thought both got better towards the end.
Definitely at the end, they did some overtime type stuff, starting from the 25-yard line, and both had touchdowns in that period. But I mean, as a whole, it was not pretty, especially early on from both the quarterbacks. And
we'll get into this on the site with the article from today's scrimmage, but you wonder, does it mean the defense is really good? Or does it mean it's going to be another long year for the offense?
Well, that's the thing. It's, you know, when you play yourself, it's always a catch-22. You know, somebody has to look good and someone has to look bad on most plays. So, you know, I think I would have liked to have seen
a little more balance.
A little more balance. I mean, it was definitely a defensive winning scrimmage as a whole. Especially early, I would have liked to have seen more balance. But the defense came out initially were very, very aggressive. Michael Pitts had a couple sacks. Kamani Fitz had a couple sacks. Blake Van had a sack. There were plenty of times where balls were thrown away just before there would have been sacks. So, you know, we talked to Coach Stripling after. I thought he did a really good job kind of digging deeper than just the raw sack total number and what they need to do to just be a more disruptive defense as a whole. And I think that they can be that. It's just a matter of how much. So
we're roughly halfway through camp.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a surprise guy from camp, There's two guys that would be in the running for me. One would be Noah Hamlin, who is one of three guys at corner. I think right now Kobe Bryant, Terrell Gilbert, Noah Hamlin.
Yep, and Cam Jeffries is your nickel
corner. Yeah, but for the outside spots, those three guys are rotating through the first team. Yep. I think Noah Hamlin deserves a spot. And 2 or 3 days ago, I might have had him as the biggest surprise of camp. Right now it's Michael Pitts.
Michael Pitts, definitely. And I would, and even though he's an older guy, I would throw Brian Wright in there just because
he's everywhere.
His transition from defensive end to linebacker and not playing the second half of last season and moving to middle linebacker and everything that goes into that, he has made that move pretty seamlessly. I mean, he's calling the defense. His guys seem to be in place. He's active.
And guys love him.
He didn't get his hands on any passes today, but he definitely probably had double-digit tackles, and that's the thing that they haven't had. I mean, when you look at this defense, when people get a chance to see this defense, it is a noticeable difference with him in the middle and guys like James Wiggins and Derek Forrest in the back end. There's just way more speed and athleticism.
I don't know if you paid much attention to it from the spot that you were at. It might have been hard to see, but Mike Warren busts one kind of off tackle and goes down the sideline. Forrest flew.
Touchdown.
That was a touchdown last year.
50, 60-yard touchdown.
By 7 or 8 yards. And not only did Forrest stop him, but then the defense got the hold.
I thought it was from where I was way behind the play, so I thought it was like up to 2 or 3 yards.
No, it was about the 10.
Really at about the 9 or 10, and they didn't let him in the end zone at first and goal. So yeah, I mean they held up, and
that speaks to Forrest though, because he not only did he have the angle, but he was cruising over to make that
there
stop.
wasn't anybody there to make that play if he wasn't. He didn't somehow get there. I think offensive line. I think we can probably say Garrett Campbell has kind of entrenched himself as the starting center.
That was 4 days in a row.
4 days in a row, and pretty much Jakari Robinson got a few reps with the ones today, but it was. Garrett Campbell was out there first, and every time they would kind of break and start a new type of segment over, he'd be out there. The right tackle battle between Blake Yeager and Chris Ferguson, my opinion is Ferguson was quite a bit better today, but I think that one's going to continue as well. I don't think
that's not over.
I would be surprised if they just called that as is.
But I think you've got at least 4 spots set the way it is right now.
I agree. I think Garrett Campbell being in the middle solidifies Trout at left guard.
Morgan James at right guard,
and then
Dino Boyd at left tackle.
Really, that's kind of it as far as position battle. There's really not any on defense outside of maybe the corner. Who's going to be that other corner besides Gilbert, Bryant, or Hamlin?
But it was pretty much a legit rotation.
Right. I mean, because corner, you're not. I mean, you start, but I mean, the teams we play, you're playing 4 to 5 corners.
But what I mean in terms of that is, one series it would be Bryant and Hamlin. One series it would be Hamlin and Gilbert. One series it would be Gilbert and Bryant. Like there was no.
Jeffries was on the outside on the play that he got the interception. So, but yeah, I mean, defensive line, linebackers, secondary is pretty much set. So you're looking at
Forrest and Wiggins.
You're looking at quarterback and right tackle is really where this.
Maybe wide receiver.
But that again is like a
rotating,
rotation thing more than a true starter type thing. So. Thank you. A little beeping going on. Appreciate that.
We'll wait. All right, thanks.
But
appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of. I think we kind of covered everything.
I place kicking. Brian Jones had one.
I think it was
partially deflected that he missed. I've said this from the spring. The ball just comes off Cole Smith's foot.
It's like, when you see an amateur golfer on the driving range, and then someone that knows what they're doing on the driving range with a driver, just the sound is different.
Or like when a guy hits one 450 feet in baseball. Like,
Yeah.
As soon as you hear the pop,
Yeah,
That's how it comes off Cole Smith's foot.
Very little special teams work today. No live action with returns or anything like that. Not going to risk, injury and something like that. But so we'll be back at Higher Ground next week. You'll be there all the time.
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday is an off day.
I will probably make it Monday, but then I will be out of town the rest of the week enjoying some golf down in Pinehurst, North Carolina. So you'll be holding down the fort with all of your other fellow media friends.
So just me.
Just you.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks to Dave. I'm Chad Brendel. This is BearcatJournal.com.